I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Audio Genius AJ. We're coming at you with Season 7, Episode 33, The Pied Piper of Saipan. It's a D World War II episode. I know. I don't know why the fuck I did it, but here we are. Find us on Instagram and Patreon at pointsopressure.com. Let's get to it.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, good job.
That sounds good. We did it.
See, I told you. It
I
sounds
know.
better.
I gotta. All right. So we complained a lot on the last episode.
Yes, we did.
Sorry, there's a dog barking in the background and it distracted me. I'm not used to hearing them. So we got a new audio interface here. It's got buttons.
Yeah.
So the sound is integrated. It sounds good. It sounds
so much
crisp.
better. At least to us. I don't know if it sounded that great to you guys the whole time, but it sounds better to us now.
I don't remember the last time I heard that intro sound without like a crunchy behind everything.
Yeah.
I have no idea if that ever made it through, but it's better now. So
sounds great.
there
now.
you go.
So here we are.
It's kind of jimmied right now, kind of jimmied up, but it's functional.
Yeah.
It's working.
We'll get it in a little bit better position in
Yeah.
the future.
This is also just us kind of, or at least me, stalling for time to make sure it's actually recording and doing things. Because it's weird. Normally, our old audio interface, it just goes right into the computer, right into Audition.
Yeah. It just shows
And
the
then
recording live.
It'll record it live. So with this one, it records it, and then I send the files over to the computer, and it takes like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
There's got to be some way to make it so that it shows. Like,
Yeah.
when we get that equalizer, not equalizer, the visualizer. When
Yeah,
we get
something
some
like that.
bullshit figured out for that, it'll.
Yeah, well, it has a little
okay.
screen on it, so that's what I'm watching now for like levels and stuff. But man, it's cool. It's got all these like. Are you ready? That's not static.
I hate that
That's
so much.
because we set this up in a record 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 whole hours. And the first hour, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And the second hour was all testing. So
So yeah, we made it. That's
So
our
here we
weekly
are.
update. Unless you got anything else.
yeah.
Satisfactory came out.
Yeah, Satisfactory came out. I played a fuck ton of that. It's been phenomenal. I'm going to keep trying to stream it. If I would stop having shit come up right after work, that would be cool. But yeah, so I'm probably going to try to stream it a lot more this week.
Nice.
So if you want to find me on there, go to Twitch, Dummy Plump. I don't give a fuck. Go
Yeah,
see
do
me
it.
there.
You should.
Go
Promote.
for it.
Use this platform to promote yourself.
Twitch.com/Dummy Plump. Check it out. Go take a look,
Yeah.
follow, but only follow when I'm streaming so you can see my alerts because they're really cool.
They're really cool.
They're really good. Turn on your notifications. But yeah, so I was playing a shit ton of that. We went camping on Friday. I got fucking anal cancer and died in the woods. But we need to go there. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's set up a trip.
It, unfortunately, though, so we got everything set up. It was great. It was cool. Trial ran the dogs camping together, which was great. Stevie is not a camping dog, which you can expect when you meet her. So she just hung out in the car with the trunk open
Oh my
the whole
God.
time.
What
in
a drama
blanket and just
queen.
looked at us. But then we walked her around, and she was like, okay, this is a little bit better.
It's like fine.
Yeah, but she still was like, I want to lay in the car in a blanket. Because she sleeps all day. It's like, what the fuck? Daisy, we had like 2 almost dog lost in the woods scares. Because she's just like,
That sounds right.
I'm going. Yeah, so it went about as good as it could have. And then I don't know what the fuck happened to me. I just don't think I can have like sugary shit now.
Yeah, if I made carbonara.
Killed you?
It was so good. It was rich. It was like
for about 20 minutes.
I'm so glad I made it. It turned out perfectly. My wife helped me cook it. It was like a fun little thing. And yeah, it really turned out good. First try.
Dope.
You know, didn't scramble the eggs.
Fuck yeah.
And then about 30 minutes later,
You're like, I am
I
gonna
was
die.
I was dying.
Yeah, it's so yeah, I couldn't sleep. Also, I need to get a new sleeping bag.
Oh yeah.
The one that I have isn't rated low enough. I was freezing. Like
Really?
I was
up into the
not,
60s?
No, dude, it got so cold
or
up
how
there.
cold did it
There
get?
was
Yeah.
fucking frost in like
Oh,
an
damn.
hour. Yeah. And an hour of us going like to bed to me being like, I'm gonna shit in my sleeping bag. I went outside and I was like, hey, I'm gonna sleep in the car. Like I can't get warm. I'm literally shivering.
Yeah, that's
And-
definitely like a summer bag.
Yeah, and she was like, we can just go. And I was like, no, it's fine. And then all of a sudden my stomach was like, hi, I'm upside down. And I was like, we should probably fucking
We should
go.
probably leave.
I'm
gonna need you to pull
literally
over a
just,
couple times.
Like threw everything in the back of the car, totally unplanned. But anything metal was covered in frost.
Dang.
Yeah. It got cold as shit, dude.
Yeah, I'll send you, if you want the link to mine.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, you should probably try it first. It's very constrictive, but I also haven't tried it in about 38 pounds. So
Yeah, that's true.
it might be really comfortable now. Before
Yeah,
it
I
was
was gonna
like
say,
it was a
mine
month,
is-
like it was very
I can actually
tight.
fully fit in mine and like zip it now.
Hell
So
yeah.
That's cool.
so yeah.
But yeah,
We're on a
so-
weight loss journey, just so
yeah,
you guys
well,
know.
It's going.
It's beneficial.
Yeah.
Still your fat podcast host, just not as
we'll
fat.
be fat, but in about a year we're gonna be
We're gonna do.
we're gonna be less funny because we're not gonna be. It's fat. We're not gonna be fat funny anymore.
Yeah.
So sorry.
And we'll do a shirtless reveal on our website,
I'm okay.
pointsopressure.com.
Do a butt reveal.
Yeah, ass reveal.
Yeah. So good week though.
Yeah,
It was nice. What about yours?
Really, not much.
Yeah.
Playing a lot of Tarkov, a lot of video games, a little bit of Fallout London. I watched the entire Fallout TV series except for the last episode, and then forgot about it
Oh yeah.
for like 3 months, and then we finished it yesterday. No, not yesterday.
The other day.
A couple days ago. It's all a blur. Really good.
Good.
Really good. Fun.
Hell yeah.
I enjoyed it. Goofy enough.
Perfect.
And then, spoiler alert from the show from months and months and months ago. Leads open the next season to be in New Vegas,
Oh, okay. Cool. Hell
which
yeah.
is fucking badass because New Vegas is the best Fallout. Fight me. I don't give a fuck.
It is. It's
It's
is
also the
the
gayest
best,
one,
yeah.
which is
which is why
better.
It's the best.
That's
yeah.
why it's the best. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I hope this doesn't cause any fallout between us.
Oh no.
Fallout New Vegas.
Jesus Christ.
That's my favorite.
Fallout New
That's my
Vegas.
favorite meme
So
on the
goofy.
planet.
I love it.
In fact, we should replace the clap sound
With that.
with that. I would laugh every time, and it would just be me,
Could work. Yeah.
just for me.
It just needs to be a kill sound. That's all we need for when we need to cut audio.
No, I need we should do like the headshot sound on Rust. Like
Ugh. It's not like a ding.
so normally it's like a ding, but it's like a crunch
Ugh. I don't like
with
that.
it. No, it's so satisfying.
Oh, it's like
It's like
like the hit marker sound effect on
like the hit marker sound effect, but a little more crunch.
Ugh, I don't know. I'll have to
good.
find something and listen to it
Yeah.
because it doesn't sound satisfying at all.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
chilling.
So we'll jump in now that I can't see how long we've been recording.
We
but
could stretch it.
yeah, so in the summer of 1944,
Oh, I know that. Good year.
yeah, great year.
Great year.
U.S. Marines and a collection of Army units, they weren't just starting their push into the Pacific. This specific push into the island of Saipan. Saipan? Is that what we determined? I looked up the
You looked it up and didn't.
yeah, I didn't play it.
$2,000 round trip from
Yeah, I
here
know.
to Saipan.
That's what I typed in Saipan and then just left it. We'll go with Saipan. So yeah, summer 1944, U.S. starts getting set up in Saipan, and the goal is to turn this island into a strategic bomber base. Now, we have a couple of past episodes about the U.S. and World War II in the Pacific. Doolittle's Debacle, Season 4, Episode 38. That one
Classic.
had Burr. Season 4, Episode 6, The Forgotten Battle of Peleliu. And then I will
Classic.
talk about...
Really pissed off that guy.
Yeah, right. I think we've got another one in there somewhere, but there's another episode I'll refer to later in the episode as well. So go check those out. Really great episodes.
The Pacific episodes, we don't do them very often, like
Yeah.
the Fighting the Pacific, but they are all really good.
Yeah,
I like
we
all
have-
of them.
I know we have more than that. We have, I think, the Cargo Colts one.
Oh, yeah. Cargo Colts.
Cargo Colts, that was
You want
season
me to do the-
5.
Saipan.
Oh, Saipan. Yeah,
Here,
cool.
did
We're
that
good.
Get picked up.
Oh, God.
Saipan.
Saipan. There we go.
I hope that got picked up.
Perfect. So yeah, it was 2 Marine divisions and 1 Army division that's set up. In total, about 27,000 Americans were sent to the Saipan Island, expected to breach and fight to the other shore, to the opposite shore, and then move to following islands after that. Many of the defenses the Japanese had were, I know we've talked about this previously, but we'll just go back over it. They were very extensive tunnel and cave and bunker systems that they had.
Oh, yeah. That was a huge part of the Pacific.
It was so fucking
like-
hard to figure it all out.
It was the strategy of the Japanese were to basically dig in all these tunnels and caves, and
Yeah.
it's really rough to attack that.
Yeah, for real. And it's so easy to defend with that.
Yeah.
They filled those up with troops as well as utilizing civilians to also help in the areas that they were living close to and everything.
Did you know that we could go to Saipan without without a
$2,044.
passport?
Really?
It's U.S. territory.
Huh. I
They
didn't
are
know
U.S. citizens there.
that. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Oh, pressure points vacay.
Oh, shit. You need to get your passport anyway.
I do.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, this is, what, two years into the whole U.S. in the Pacific, U.S. Pacific push, I think. So they
you
kind
said
of,
this was 44?
This is 44, summer of 44.
So I think that would be 3 to 4 years, but let me check. You can keep going. I'll interrupt.
It would be 3 years because 1941 was when they put Japanese people in internment camps. So that would have been just after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, 1941.
Okay. So 3 years that the U.S. have been doing Pacific shit and dealing with
December 1941 was Pearl Harbor. So
well,
yeah.
So yeah, two and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they're doing their little push in there. They've already previously dealt with a few of those problems in the past. And as the U.S. pushed further into the island, Japan got more and more desperate. Because the U.S. had experience previously, they kind of had a better idea of how to go about moving through Saipan. So, as Japan started getting pushed further and further back and losing more and more people, they ended up telling their troops that each man should be killing 7 Americans each, or they should be committing suicide.
Oh, yeah.
They're hitting desperate levels. They're like, hey,
If your KD isn't 7-1,
you get the fuck out
you
of here.
get Sudoku.
Yeah. It was an extremely bloody and violent war. It led to a ton of bloodshed on either side. But good guy Galbadon, or let's see, Gabaldon. Yeah, Gabaldon. Yeah, that's it. He did his best to avoid taking the extreme actions his fellow Marines did. So So he was born in 1926, East Los Angeles. Big Mexican family. But this is 1926. This is just before the fucking Great Depression. It's a struggling family. You're in East LA. You're immigrants. Yeah. It's going to be a hard time, especially the area that they lived in was a very immigrant-heavy, like, ethnic area. And so a lot of people were really fucking struggling. It's like just down the street from Skid Row. Do you know Skid Row in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like now it's major homeless population, but at the time it was still kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, but it was more so just slums. Like it was just bad.
Yeah. Not a good place.
Yeah.
But the best they could do, because Great Depression.
Yeah. Right.
American racism, American exceptionalism. Sorry.
Yeah, good save. So he had 6 other siblings. That's a
big family.
Big family. And he was the second oldest, I think. He had to get by shining shoes on Skid Row for like $1 a day, and he would take that home and give it to his family.
And that's like working 16-hour days. Like that's a long.
And these aren't. It's not like he's shining shoes on Skid Row, and these are like rich money men coming through. Like he's not shining the best of shoes.
Yeah,
it's not a great situation for a little kid. And because of where he was working for his family, and because of where he was growing up, it kind of pushed him into, and this is young, man, like we're talking like an 8-year-old kid that's getting pushed into the ethnic gangs of LA, specifically the Mo gang. Now, we're talking 1930s gangs in LA.
Oh, so they're like flipping nickels and wearing zoot suits.
No, that shit's like, yeah. I was thinking you were going to go like the fucking switchblades and shit. I was like, no, that's like 50s. That's like
broken bottles.
Yeah, what is
shit.
it? Slickers or whatever the fuck they call it.
What you just call me?
So Mickey Cohen ran the Jewish gang Cohen crime family.
Oh, what a good name.
Bugsy Siegel ran things in L.A.
We've talked about Bugsy Siegel, haven't we?
I believe he's come up in the past.
He's definitely come up in the past.
He had a big presence in gangs through the 30s and 40s.
That's a big name guy.
Well, I mean, he was a childhood friend to Capone.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually
He's
helped.
Huge.
Not really a spoiler alert, but he helped hide Capone for a little bit while Capone was on the lam. But yeah, Bugsy ended up like taking over Vegas. I'll end up doing an episode just on Bugsy because he's got a fucking whole crazy story. And then Mo Sedway worked alongside Bugsy, but was known as the Czar of Vegas. Yeah, and he worked closely with him, but they weren't like always allies per se. But yeah, each of those very likely their own episodes down the line because I fucking love that old gangster shit.
Oh, that old gangster shit is so cool. And we've mostly talked about just East Coast. So
East Coast,
talking a little bit about
East
West
Coast
Coast
is such a like prominent thing.
Yeah, but dipping the toes into West Coast would be, that's a good future
Touching
episode
on
right there.
Vegas is going to be a good one.
Oh yeah, like the gang shit with Vegas.
Man. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cutthroat as shit with the gang scene in L.A. Mind you, this isn't like your Crips and Blood shit that we currently have. Mm-hmm. This is some old predating all of that.
It's closer to like the crime families and the mafia and
a lot of
and stuff.
A lot of like sub ethnic gangs as well that fall under all of that. So like the Mo gang would have like a Polynesian gang within it, and also a Jewish gang, and also a Mexican gang, and also like Yakuza. Like it's crazy how much of a melting pot it was. But yeah, that's for another episode. So Guy gets involved with stealing cars, stealing shit from local shops, and eventually ends up in juvenile detention for like 2 weeks. And his mom is fucking pissed. She does the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air shit.
Oh yeah.
And
Sends him
she's
to a rich uncle's house.
not really a rich uncle,
so
but
that he can become a cook?
sends him to New Mexico to live with his grandfather.
Oof.
And his grandfather owns this, like, it's like a saloon storefront kind of thing. And so he works there, and he's like fascinated by the fact that his grandpa is like Wild West shit. Like has a gun and everything in case bad characters show up. I mean, this is the fucking 1930s, dude.
It's
like
the 30s in New Mexico. You think it's a hellhole now?
Yeah, you got some rough hombres coming through.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have that thing strapped on you. And he was just like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy for grandpa to have this. So his grandpa puts him to work, works him like fucking crazy. I think he had like a little bit of a ranch out there too.
Hell yeah.
So it's kind of like beat this kid straight kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's out there for a few months, but towards the end of those months, he ends up finding out that his grandpa is running an illegal poker ring out of his shop.
Hell
because he's seeing these like rough and tumble characters coming through, and he's just like, man, like these guys look like bad business. And then one day the door's cracked open just a little bit, and he peeks through it. He sees his grandpa dealing cards, and he sees his grandpa after he deals cards, steps over and like holds onto the shotgun that he was showing his grandson just like months ago. And so guy is just like, holy shit, dude, what's this about? Approaches his grandpa about it, and his grandpa's like, I think it's time you go back home. Sends him back to LA. And so at this point, guy is about 12 years old. And I think it kind of occurred to him that if he keeps going the same route with like the gangs and trying to go his grandfather's route and everything, like it's just not going to end up well for him. My guess is he probably had bad experiences in New Mexico dealing with some of those guys, and he was just like, I don't know if this is the shit for me. Like these guys are bad fucking dudes. Mm-hmm. So he actually flips a switch. He works like, he doesn't become like a narc or anything, but like he does his best to not be on the bad side of police officers. When they show up, he's just like, I'm not affiliated. Like,
yeah,
just kind of, he's like distances himself from all of the gang shit. And I honestly think a lot of it was he probably wanted a little bit of stability.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's growing up in a poor fucking household, and then he's sent away, and then he's sent back. And it's like, if I act up again, they're just going to fucking send me out there again.
Yeah, and it's like everywhere that he's gone, he's still been surrounded by those, those
yeah,
bad
that
actors.
bad shit. So it's like, why not try to flip the switch on it? And that's when he meets Lane and Lyle Nakano. The two Japanese-American twins. They're as clean nosed as you can fucking get. They actually help Guy with his homework, and the thing that got him to be like really close friends with them is he noticed how good they were in school. They're like always top of the class, and he's like, this could help me out, but also smart kids are generally good kids. These two seem pretty well disciplined. I'm going to start hanging out with these guys. So they help him out with his homework. They'll go out and like just do their thing, hang out, not really get up to no good in East LA, but I mean, it's the fucking 30s. Like,
yeah,
they're throwing sticks down sewer
I was just
pipes
gonna say
or some bullshit.
They're playing baseball with a stick and
exactly. Like just good old
kid American
stuff.
kids.
Yeah. And it keeps Guy fully out of trouble, and he ends up spending more and more time with the Nakano family. And as he's spending more time with them, he's starting to notice all those differences in like Japanese customs as compared to the Mexican customs that he experienced growing up, and then compared to like the typical American customs that everyone else is fucking going through. And he really latches on to like these Japanese customs. He's like, this is my shit. Like, I like how respectful all of this is. I like that this is more like, it's not so much about competition. It's like, in his eyes, it was like, it's about being your best self and being good to other people. And he was like, okay, like, I want to live like this, absolutely, because that was kind of how the Nakanos were teaching him. And they're like, oh, hey, this is like all of Japanese history and everything. The family itself is going to, they're like English lessons that they're going to every few nights. Mm-hmm. And Guy ends up joining them so that he can flip it and learn Japanese and reverse these English lessons. And he ends up, like, because he spends so much time with the family, they kind of teach him as they go. And he ends up speaking fluent Japanese.
Oh, that's badass.
This little fucking Mexican kid in East LA speaks Spanish, English, and Japanese fluently.
Badass.
And it's so fucking cool. And I can't even imagine the 1930s. Like, that shit is so awesome. He's loving it. And this is like, he's finally going down a path that, like, he's thrilled about. He's like, this is perfect. He eventually moves in with the Nakano family, and his mother and father agree. They're like, you know what? We think they're phenomenal influences. Also, you're one less mouth to feed.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Like, I think that they have the chance to give you a better future than we can. And so he moves in, lives with the family, like, through his teen years. And the Nakanos just, like, fully accept him into their family. He calls them his extended family to anybody else. Yeah, he lives with them for 7 fucking years.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah. Lives with them, and then in 1941, Japanese families are thrown into internment camps all across the U.S. After they signed, what is it, like Order 9066 or something?
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Legislative order.
Yeah, something like that. And it breaks his heart because it's not like every Japanese family that's picked up goes to, like, a local internment camp.
Oh, no.
They're sent all over the country.
So it was Executive Order 9066.
Oh, okay, cool. I said it
February 19th, 1942.
right. Yeah, man, it's shitty.
Yeah, 120,000 of these people are just...
It's terrible.
Shipped off to wherever.
Yeah. So the Nakanos are sent to an internment camp in Wyoming. And at that point, it's not like Guy can just go with them. Like,
yeah,
he's this Mexican kid. Like, they're going to stop him and be like, and the Nakanos aren't going to be like, yeah, come with us either. Like, this isn't like, oh, we're going on vacation, Guy, come with us. This is a fucking internment camp.
Yeah, they're forced out of their homes, their businesses, their jobs, everything.
Yeah. So Guy ends up working so he fully leaves LA. He ends up working in a cannery in Alaska for about a year or so. And he gets word back that the Nakano twins, Lyle and Lane, enlist in the Army. And so he goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'll join the Marines. So, funny enough, Lane Nakano served in the 442nd Combat Team that you talked about in Season 7, Episode 10, Nisi and the Lost Battalion. He was in that fucking battalion.
Damn.
He has his own Wikipedia page about his involvement in that battalion, the awards that he won. Like, Lane went on to really be something big in World War II, which is just, I love that, like, there's that tiny crossover, and I didn't catch it until, like, I was like 3/4 of the way through my notes. I was like filling in stuff from Wikipedia, finding like a little timeline, and Nakano was a link, and I was like, is the Nakano family like famous for something? And click on it, and it just goes Lane Nakano, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? That's so cool.
I was gonna say, I recognize the name.
Yeah.
So I must have read about him at some point during doing that episode or whatever.
Somebody that stuck out further. I didn't read everything about it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was so.
That's so cool.
So sick that in the same season we have a little crossover episode.
A little accidental crossover.
Now the 442nd went to went over to Europe, Guy is obviously sent over to the South Pacific to Saipan. 18 years old. That's the thing that always blows my mind about this shit is that, like, these are just kids.
Oh, these
man.
are kids. There are people lying about their age.
Yeah. My grandpa was one of them. He lied about, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
He said he was 19. I think he was only like 16 or 17 so that he could join the Air Force to fly planes. I think I've talked about it before. Yeah. But yeah, like, it was a pretty fucking standard thing, man.
And you know why why Lane was sent to Europe while he was sent to the Pacific?
Well, yeah, so that Lane couldn't defect.
Well,
or,
yeah.
I guess what they would think he would do.
Yeah, the segregated battalions and shit couldn't fight in the Pacific for the longest time. Not forever, but they were very heavily frowned upon it because you got to remember in that famous photo of the flag being lifted on Iwo Jima. Was it Iwo Jima? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. One of those is a Japanese American.
Really?
Who we've talked about, who died in poverty, not even being recognized for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so fucking racist.
It's, yeah, exactly.
So terrible. Guy goes over to the Pacific. It starts on like June 15th. And after about 2.5 weeks of fighting, Guy is fed up. And it's not so much that he's just like, I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of being in war. He's bothered because he's attacking these people that are part of a culture that he fucking loves.
Yeah.
Like I know that like they didn't send Japanese people over to the Pacific to fight against Japan. I know how fucked that, like, it's fucked up that you're like, oh, I'm not going to trust people like that. But like, it's just like, but also to not vet him enough to know that he spent this much time with a Japanese family. Like, this hurts. This fucking hurts, Guy.
Oh, it's Ira Hayes, by the way, I believe.
Is the dude that raised the flag?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Let me make sure I'm not just lying out my ass.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, like, I can't even imagine, dude. Like,
oh no, he wasn't Japanese. Oh my god.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I was barking up the wrong ass tree.
Was he white?
He was indigenous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Sorry, I mixed up my ethnic minorities in the U.S.
Still,
sue me.
Still an atrocity the way that he was treated.
Well, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No, he was treated like a complete ass.
But yeah, so 2.5 weeks of fighting. Guy can only think about the Nakanos while he's fighting in Saipan. And he's just like, this hurts so much. Like, I miss them. What am I fighting for? Like, it's not like he's fighting to free them, because he frees them, like, they're already fucking locked up by their own government. Like,
yeah.
That's got to be so hard to be like, oh, what am I fucking fighting for now? So he gets up out of bed, sneaks out of his tent, and quietly just goes on what he calls an evening patrol, is what he calls it.
Yeah.
Makes his way over to the Japanese front line.
Really?
Yeah. And he's just
meanders on over.
Yeah, sun's down, moon's up. It's like late night, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go see what the Japanese are doing. I'm gonna go see what's going on over there. And yeah, as he goes through, he surprises himself as he discovers that he walks behind 2 Japanese soldiers that are hiding and guarding the entrance of a cave. And he just walks up and sees them, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, did I really just like walk past these guys and they haven't done anything? And they're just kind of doing like they're hiding and just watching the other direction, and he's just standing right behind them. And he's like, okay, and just keeps going on his way.
Yeah. He doesn't say anything?
No. Because
God.
he doesn't want any of this fucking bloodshed. He wants all of this to be solved, but peacefully. And he's like, I'm going to see what's going on back here. And if I can do it quietly and do my own thing, cool. in his eyes and in later interviews, he actually says, my whole approach to this was I would so much rather die trying to save both sides than kill anybody in this whole thing. And so the next morning on July 7th, the Japanese charge in with 4,000 Japanese soldiers and civilians, swearing to get their 7 American heads each. It is a 15-hour battle that goes on. Brutal fighting, thousands dying on either side. A lot of this turning into like hand-to-hand combat, having to fight one another with knives and shit. It is like the most brutal day in Saipan. It's fucking terrible. And sun comes down. Everyone's exhausted that's made it out alive. They've seen some of their friends die. They've seen like family die. It's terrible. And sun's going down just below the tree line, and guy walks back into the U.S. camp unharmed, like not covered in someone else's blood, not covered in his own, clean as can be. Apparently during this whole 15-hour thing, he virtually just ran recon for himself. He just hid and moved and hid and moved, cleverly dodging everything during this Japanese assault. And as Japan was retreating for the night, he grabs 2 fucking Japanese soldiers and he's like, "You're prisoners." Like, talks to them in Japanese, and he's like, "Hey, give yourselves up." And they're like, "Okay." And he takes them back.
Fuck?
He takes them back to the camp, and his commander sees him and is like, "What the fuck? Where have you been? Why are you?"
He went AWOL.
Why are your clothes clean? What the fuck happened? And why do you have these 2 guys?
He's probably.
Yeah.
I like to imagine he has them scruffed.
No, not even that. He's
No?
just. They're walking in
They're
front of him.
walking with it. Oh,
Yeah, because
is he armed?
He spoke to them in Japanese, and he was like, "Hey, like,"
You're my prisoner now.
he's like, "Come back to the U.S. camp, and I can guarantee you're not going to die like your friends.
Yeah,
I'm going to take you back there. Yeah, it doesn't look great on paper, but like,
But it's
if
better
you
than
surrender, I can promise you, you won't die."
Yeah.
And these 2 guys, they're fucking terrified. All they've seen is their friends get murdered in front of them all day.
You go out and fight,
Yeah.
and you're surrounded by death, and then you come back, and if somebody thinks you didn't kill enough people, then you're killing yourself or being
they
executed.
have like 5.
It's not good for morale.
They have like 5 American scalps each. It's like you kill yourself when you get back home. Like, what do you do here? You know? And so these 2 guys are like, he's got a point. And so they go back with him. His commander is still like, "I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck if you came back with prisoners. I don't care if you captured anybody. You went AWOL." And he almost gets fucking court-martialed.
Yeah.
But because he came back with 2 prisoners, they were like, "We'll give you a little bit of a pass, but like,
Don't
if
do
this
that
shit
again."
happens again, like, you're on the chopping block, bro." So he gets these prisoners handed off, goes back to his tent, grabs a couple supplies, and goes out on another evening patrol.
It's like, all right, bye.
He goes, "Court-martial me. I don't give a fuck. Like,
No.
I just saved 2 lives. Fuck you." So he wanders
he
out
must
at
have
night
been-
again.
Like, so fucked up mentally.
The most
must have
non-caring
been-
person. Like, I can't even imagine.
So like
He's so mentally
He's so
like
gone.
separated
He's so
from what's happening.
dissociating
Yeah.
of the situation.
But to
That's
also
wild.
like, it's honorable to be like, yeah, like,
Well, yeah.
he's not gonna fucking
His breaking point
Yeah.
didn't compromise his moral beliefs.
He's not like, "Oh my God, like this is terrible," and just starts like murdering his unit. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm gonna start saving the enemies." And it's like, wait, what the fuck? So, yeah, that's that night after he's almost court-martialed, after he's almost fucking like virtually sent back home. He heads back out, and he finds he finds a couple more guards at what was it called, the Bonsai Cliff, and he goes up there, and he later on he was interviewed, and he was just like, I thought this whole time that I'm walking up to these Japanese people that they're like more or less like setting up a trap for me. He's like, I was expecting in all of these instances, like I'd be like, hey, just come with me, turn yourselves over, it'll be fine. And he's like, and I figured they would like somehow lead me into like punji sticks or some bullshit. But he goes, as it went on, I just realized that they were just playing baka, which is stupid. And it's just like, he's like, I just realized they were dumb as fuck. Like they weren't going to do any of these things because they didn't want to be here as much as I didn't want to be here. So, he goes to the Bonsai Cliffs, and everybody's tuckered out. It's not like people are like, we got to listen out for Guy. They just fought for 15 hours. They're not listening out for fucking anything right now. So he heads back out, goes to the cliffs, and he finds 2 more guards at the opening of a cave, and just walks up, lights a cigarette, talks to him in Japanese. Hey. I would assume he probably walks up with his hands up, and he's like, hey, look, like, I'm not a threat. Like, I'm not going to try to cause any problems. And he sits down with these 2 Japanese guards, and they joke. They're like, oh, yeah, you fucking speak street Japanese, or backstreet Japanese is what they call it. And he laughs, and he kind of tells them where he's from and everything, relates to them as best as he can. My guess is that he probably uses, like, his knowledge of, like, their culture and kind of asks, like, oh, hey, have you ever, like, what about this? You know about this stuff? Like, I grew up seeing some of these things, reading these. And these guys are like, yeah, like, this guy is a relatable person.
Yeah, well, he's also, like, introducing potentially elements of back home to them. So they're having these memories of before being sent off to Saipan.
And they see somebody that's not Japanese that's like, hey, I know your customs. Like,
yeah,
I
which is
grew up
crazy,
with these.
especially with how the Japanese were propagandized by America.
So these,
like
they're
they
seeing
were
something like that for the first time.
They were shown to be treated as animals, like subhuman, wild people, which is crazy.
Like,
and then he shows up and says, "Hey, I know about your rich culture." And I know you, and I respect your language, and I respect your culture, and they're like, "Oh, this is unlike any American I've ever seen."
Yeah, it probably is just blowing their minds. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" So, he tells them, "Listen, you can, like, I can fuck off. I can go back to my camp. We can never see each other again, and that's okay. But if that's what happens, I can almost guarantee you that tomorrow, people like the troops, Americans, we're going to come up here and they're going to put flamethrowers into your caves. They're going to find the mines, and they're going to roast you guys alive. Literally. They're going to cook you alive, because that's their strategy on fighting the Japanese on these islands with all these cave systems, is literally toss a grenade down a hole.
Yep. Light on fire.
Yeah. Cook them out. And it's just, he's so straightforward, and he's like, but if you can convince everybody in that tunnel to come with me, I could guarantee your safety. I can promise it. I've done it with 2 people already. And these 2 guys look at one another, and they're like, this guy's relatable. He gets it. He's just like us. Like, all 3 of us are probably fucking 18 years old.
Yeah.
And they go, okay. And so he's like, I'll wait out here. Just come out and let me know. And they're like, all right. So they go into the tunnel. He waits for, I don't know, probably about an hour or so. Because, I mean, I can't imagine that convincing people to come out of a tunnel and go to safety who haven't talked to this guy is going to be an easy feat. Mm-hmm. So he waits for a little while, and about an hour goes by, and all of a sudden this huge group of soldiers and civilians just come out of the cave opening. It's everyone's like, okay, if you can guarantee our safety, we are so fucking tired of just throwing ourselves at this and dying. Like, And then if we're not doing what we're supposed to, we die anyway. Like, we're tired. We're exhausted. We'll go with you. And he's like, all right, sounds good. Leads him back to camp. Same as before. And the next morning, he wakes up his commander, and his commander's like, what the fuck do you want, guy? And he's like, hey, come out of your tent real quick. Commander walks out, and there are 50 people that he's gotten to follow him to safety. He says, hey, look, all of these are technically prisoners of war. I guaranteed all of them safety. And the commander looks at him, and he's like, how the fuck are you doing this?
There's 50 people here.
You're doing this on your own. Nobody in 2.5 years of fighting has been able to convince the Japanese to cease fire.
Yeah, because they're probably saying, cease fire, and not whatever it is in Japanese.
Yeah. And it's just like, he goes, well, I speak Japanese. And they're like, okay, well, we know that. And he's like, yeah, but like, I don't want violence. And the commander's like, okay, come with me. And he takes him into a private meeting, sits him down, and he goes, listen, you can't, like, I love what you're doing, and I want you to continue doing this because it's going to help us win this
saving
war.
Lives.
But we've got to find the right way to do this. And so they come to the conclusion that the best approach is for the commander to give him permission to run as a lone wolf operator.
Oh,
so
okay.
He passes it on. He more or less gets a promotion. And he's told, hey.
I love the official military designation of lone wolf operator.
He ends up getting his little promotion same day. And the commander goes, listen, rest during the day, whatever. We're not going to like send you out there or anything.
You're a lone wolf now.
Yeah, tonight, go do your thing. Come back with what you can. And he goes, okay, sounds good. So, let's see. The following night, Gabaldon goes and finds 2 more guards guarding I love that his approach is just to find where like guards are hiding, and he sees them and gets behind them, and he's just like he just taps them on the back, and he's like, hey, and they're like, what the fuck? And he says, he's like just says hello, hey, I'm not going to hurt you in Japanese. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're probably somebody that's with us because it's nighttime. It's not like they're going to be able to see him.
Speaking Japanese.
And he's like, hey, look, I'm with the Americans. I'm not going to fucking hurt you. And talks to 2 more guards and gives them the same spiel. He sits down, smokes a cigarette with them, just talks to him about life and everything, and tells them, anybody that's in that tunnel, get them to come out. I saved 50 people last night, 50 people that aren't dying tomorrow. Come with me. They didn't die yesterday. They're still alive. Like, we can do the same with as many people that are in here. And again, these guys go into the cave. A little time later, they come out with 800 people
in that one cave.
Everyone, and
Holy
I mean, it's
shit.
just spreading. Somebody says, hey, there's somebody that's giving us more or less amnesty. Like, let's go. And so he enters camp, and everyone's in awe because he's walking with a literal Japanese army. If they turn on him, he's dead in an instant.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not going to fight off 800 people.
No.
But these people are like, oh, yeah, like, we'll fucking roll with him, whatever. So
Jesus.
he walks them all back over.
Man,
and
I bet the people on guard duty in the American camp are
are like,
shitting
what the
bricks.
fuck, man?
No,
Yeah.
because there's like 2 of them,
Yeah.
and they're like,
how are we going to watch 850
fuck.
people?
wake everyone up.
We're going to be overrun. Like,
yeah. Wake everyone up. The POW camp is now larger than our battalion.
yeah, dude. Yeah. So he comes back, and as he's walking through, people are like, he's a fucking Pied Piper. Like,
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
He's just bringing people
Yeah,
in.
he's just walking them into camp and everything. Gets his little title, Pied Piper Saipan, and it ends up in the like full seizure of Saipan. Like almost single-handedly, he like dismantles them. Because
Jesus.
I mean, you figure on their huge attack, they had 4,000 people attacking. He just took almost a quarter of that away from them.
Yeah, in what, 3 nights?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, the U.S. moves on to Tinian Island, and Guy ends up capturing and convincing hundreds more to surrender there. In total, the U.S. military credits him with 1,500 people saved in
That's
the
a lot of
islands.
lives.
Yeah.
Because that's not just 1,500 people that he saved. That's 1,500 people who would have been forced to fight and kill other people.
And if they didn't, they would kill themselves.
Exactly. So that is thousands and thousands and thousands of lives.
Yeah, that this dude just saved just by
He's
being
just
able to
like-
speak the native language.
Because he got a pack of Lucky Strikes.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, so he saves 1,500 fucking people in the Pacific Islands.
Holy shit.
And he ends up coming back to the U.S. He receives the Silver Star. And he finds out later that it was actually recommended that he receive the Medal of Honor because he is, by proxy, saving thousands of people. And he said, I didn't get the Medal of Honor, of course, because I am Chicano. There's no other reason I didn't get it. And it's like,
Yeah, I was going to
fair.
say.
It's fair.
I was going to say, I've seen
he's a huge figurehead for like the Latin American community and everything. I thought it was
Yeah.
so fucking cool. Later, I think 1960, the Marines turn his Silver Star into a Navy Cross, which is actually the like second highest military decoration just below the Medal of Honor. And he ends up running for Congress in California in like the 70s. In the 50s, he appears on a couple of talk shows, and like this one that's like, oh, like, tell me about yourself is basically what the game show is. And you just sit down, and he sits down and tells his story, and people were like, holy shit, that happened. And he's like, yeah, I didn't fucking choose to kill people during wartime. Like, God forbid I didn't kill Japanese people overseas. And like, he just blows up. People are like, oh my God, like this is a good fucking guy. In the 70s, after he doesn't get the congressman spot for California, he and his wife move to Saipan because it's a U.S. territory, just learning that now. But they move to Saipan. They open up a little seafood shop. They run a youth camp, and they live there for like 20 years.
Hell yeah.
The Pied Piper of Saipan died in 2006. He was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, and a few, I think like 2 or 3 years after his death, the Hispanic community pushed like crazy for the Department of Defense to review upgrading his Navy Cross to a Medal of Honor, and it's currently under review. So there's a chance in the next few, I mean, this is, mind you, this is like 14 years ago that was filed, but there's still a chance that it
There's a
gets
chance.
moved
I mean,
up.
it's definitely deserving of a Medal of Honor. Like,
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
more honorable than finding your way around killing people and actually saving people's
Yeah.
lives? Whoa.
Fucking impressive.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I love our crazy, like, violent World War II episodes, but like every so often when we have one that's just like somebody did something fucking good.
Yeah,
It's like,
somebody
wow.
did something good. You know, sometimes you just need in the world. You
Yeah.
just need to remember that some people did do good things.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they were punished for them, and it was swept under the rug.
Yeah.
But you know, he
But
wasn't going
not,
to stand for
not
that.
for good guy.
Not for good
Yeah,
guy.
the Pied Piper. Yeah, be like the Pied Piper. So
No, that's fantastic.
I
I
love
love those stories, and we really don't. I already said this, but we really don't talk about the Pacific.
no,
Enough.
I mean, there's so much that happened with it too.
So much, and it was so brutal in so much of it.
We need to do like a collection of episodes. Like, start filing all our stuff on Patreon under like playlists that it's like World War II Pacific.
Yeah,
Like,
World
we
War
need to
II,
figure that shit
yeah.
out. We'll do it sometime.
Something like that.
But if you would like an exclusive episode,
Ad-free.
ad-free, every month on the first day of the following month, and if you would like an ad-free version of every episode, go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/points-o-pressure. We also have AJ's series called Voices, which is on there, and like 30 sloppy seconds. So go check us out there. You got those names?
Yeah. So we've got the board who wants us to assure you that they would have been pulling the trigger during this point in war.
They would have chosen not to learn Japanese.
Yeah. Minnie D, Thomas, and Toddlewaddle, thank you guys so much. And then, of course, we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, G-Dog, Grover, Hayden, Laura Revo, and Lindo. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic. We appreciate it. And, you know, if you guys ever have any recommendations for movies, TV shows, books, music, dirty magazines, whatever, really, video games, whatever, by all means, shoot us a message. Or if you just want somebody to talk to, by all means, reach out to us on Instagram at Points Out Pressure. Email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com or go to our website, pointsoutpressure.com, and go to the contact us page, and we'll catch you fucks next Monday.